authentically peculiar, authentically peculiar, authentically peculiar.
Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us again here at Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. I am so elated to have you all first listen to the podcast. Don't forget to like and share, because I am telling you, on Authentically Peculiar with Marcia, lives are going to be changed as we deal with day-to-day issues and living authentically. Today, I am honored because I have the fabulous Josie Edwards here with me today. And our topic is going to be sensitive in nature, but empowering and overcoming as we talk about COVID, mental wellness, as well as recovery and the ability to move forward in your life wherever you are. So, thank you, Josie, for being here. I'm going to do this introduction because, man, listen, this is a powerhouse here, y'all. Y'all need to understand, she is a powerhouse. She is a phenomenal woman. Josie has lived in Georgia probably as long as me, 30-something years, by way of Alabama. She has been married and divorced, a wonderful single mother of 3. I'm going to just say this, that Brighton is my favorite of the 3. That's because I know him better than the girls, but that's my big boy. And a grandson whom she absolutely adores. Josie has a master's degree in business marketing. And what she did with that degree was created a team of 800 powerhouses using direct sale techniques with paparazzi. You know, the $5 bling. Check these earrings out. We got that $5 bling, baby. Yes. And with that, she has established her own empire, her own way. But Josie found herself in the midst of COVID unexpectedly. So we're going to actually talk about what that looks like for her. Josie is an author. I'm claiming it. Best-selling author. The book hasn't been written yet, but you watch out when it does hit us. It's going to be there. And at her core, her ultimate goal is always to pull out the absolute best from every person that she comes in contact with. Josie, thank you so much for joining me with Authentically Peculiar with Marcia. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I am excited too. We're both nervous. Let me say that. And I shared with Josie, as well as a couple of other guests that I'll be interviewing later. Nervous are good because that means that we're out of the way. We don't know how the universe, how God is going to line things up, but we know that at the end, it's going to blow the roof and lives are going to be changed. So Josie, I'm going to start here. You have experienced major changes in your life, and it all began with COVID. Tell me what you would like us to know about this experience and major life change.
Ooh, well.
You know, I like that deep breathing. Let it out, let it out.
Yeah, and I'm going to do a lot of that throughout this session.
Nice.
Because I have definitely experienced lots of anxiety, fears, bouts with depression. Of course, you can see I'm on oxygen.
She has a beautiful little jewel accessory
for
her O2. That's what we're going to do. It's a beautiful accessory.
Yes, I need to bling it out.
Yeah.
but it has literally been life changing.
Mhm.
I know that people feel it's okay, and I'm not here to judge
Mhm.
one way or another,
Mhm.
but be careful when you're out,
Yes.
because I finally made the decision to go out and I went on a trip.
Mm.
And during this trip, it's probably when I contracted COVID, more than
Mhm.
likely, because I
Mhm.
wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So I come back from this trip and I'm experiencing not all the symptoms, because I never lost my sense of taste. I never
Mhm.
lost my sense of smell. I didn't have a
Mhm.
fever.
Mhm.
I was flashing, but I'm at that age where that
Yeah.
happens. So that was
Mhm.
nothing unusual. Due to the time difference between where I was and being here is 3 hours. So I figured it was just jet lag, and that's why I was tired.
Right.
And most times when I go, I come back with upper respiratory issues because of the cigarette smoke that
Mhm.
we have to be around. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
that's the environment. So long story short, a week after I was back, someone
Mhm.
I was around reached out to me and said, "Hey, you need to go get checked." Someone who was with us has COVID. They're positive.
Mhm.
Yeah, the between the 5 people I was with, that one
Mhm.
person and me were the only two that contracted it.
Mhm.
So I went ahead and went to CVS that Thursday, and my test came back Saturday. I was positive.
Mhm.
And at that point, my breathing had changed. It was very, very labored.
Mm.
Um, where I live, I'm on one side of my home where I have my own suite.
Uh-huh.
So less than 3 feet from
Mhm.
where I sleep.
Mhm.
And when I would go in there, wash my hands, whatever, I was
Mm.
breathing like that. So it
Mhm.
had gotten to a point that I was literally afraid, but I was also afraid to go to the hospital,
Gotcha.
mainly because I feared being put on a ventilator.
Mhm.
And the stories we were seeing about vents, people weren't making it. I had all kinds of fear rolling through my head.
Yeah.
Um, I did a telemed appointment that Tuesday, August 17th,
Mhm.
and the doctor and I talked. He asked me if I had a pulse oximeter. I told him I did. He said, "Have you put it on?" I said, "No." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm afraid." See, I'm
Mm.
honest.
Mhm.
I was afraid. I put it on. It creeped up to the 60s.
Mm.
And from what I hear, people have died in their 60s.
Wow. Wow.
So I definitely was not on the road to recovery, and I needed help.
Mhm.
So I let my child know, and they got me together, took me to the hospital. Of course, they couldn't come in, they had to
Mhm.
stay out. And I was there for 5 weeks.
Mhm.
And during the,
Hospitalized 5 weeks
yep,
away from your
hospitalized for
babies,
5 weeks,
away from everything that
couldn't
was familiar. Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
Don't I can only trust God and the people who were working on me,
Mhm.
and was constantly praying that they were doing the right things,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I didn't know anybody but me.
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
was a very scary situation. I was on 100% oxygen. This little cannula now
Mhm.
doesn't compare to what was in my nose. And I didn't
Mm.
realize I was in ICU, by the way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was this thick.
My
Imagine something
goodness.
this thick up to your face,
Mhm.
constantly blowing a barrage of air so that you can
Mm.
live, because
Wow.
that's what it was.
Mhm. Yeah. I can feel the emotions, just you revisiting that moment. And I can imagine even when I was texting, saying, and the thing that reminds me of how fragile and strong we can be in one statement is, I'm checking on you. You're sending these messages like everything is kind of cool. I'm sharing with you my child has COVID, and her husband, and it was pretty bad. And you're saying, I need you to be careful. You have asthma. And I'm like, so as we're talking about this experience, I'm thinking about how you were thinking more about me during that time. Tell me how that helped you to really push as you were still in the role of Josie, making sure everybody was okay.
When you're isolated,
Mm-hmm.
you have time to deal with you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my life prior to COVID,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you name it, I was doing it. I was everywhere. I was, until COVID shut the world down. Then I came home and I was cool with it. Honest to
Yeah.
God, I wasn't ordering groceries, anything, have it delivered.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in an environment like that where you have to trust people you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
it's better, in my personal opinion,
Mm-hmm.
to concentrate on something other than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If someone called me, I would reach down and get my phone, send it to voicemail, text them, just text me. Because I didn't even want people to know where I was. Because if you notice, it was never posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
I never told the general public where I was and what I was going through. And I have my personal reasons for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I did tell my team because a lot of them had been around me. So I wanted them to be well, to make sure you get checked and you're okay.
Yeah.
But it's my nature
Mm-hmm.
to worry about others.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that cancer trait. We're nurturers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if I do anything outside of that, I'm not being who I am.
Absolutely. And
So go ahead.
I was just going to get ready to say, being authentic. A lot of people don't realize that when you're living an authentic existence, you literally can overcome anything, because you don't have to wait until the mask come off. You don't have to wait until the truth kind of creeps up. You're living your best self.
Yes.
And so carry us through as you went through some of the toughest times. What were some of the toughest times that you experienced while you were in the hospital, if you don't mind sharing?
Not at all. Like I said, I was there for 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
On week 4, I was excited because the day before, I was able to sit at the sink and give myself a bath. And that was the first time I was able to do that. So I was excited. So that next night, I was like, I'm going to do it again. So my tech was making up my bed. And I was, cleaning myself up. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh my God. She said, what's wrong? I said, I feel so tired. I don't know what's going on. I haven't been over here that long. She looked up at my monitor. It was blinking. It was at 50.
So your oxygen level had decreased.
Way too low. Getting ready to cold, didn't even know it. Probably would have passed out. That would have been the end of it.
Wow.
And she grabbed me and threw me on the bed, and everybody rushed in the room. I'm looking like, what are y'all doing? What's going on? And they took the little cannula off, because that's what we were working toward, getting me where I could come home.
Yeah.
And we had gotten my oxygen down to like in the low teens. The low teens. So now they had to put me back on the high flow oxygen because it was down to 50.
Wow.
So I was getting ready to check out yet again. So that experience what happened? Okay, I thought I had done something wrong. Okay,
something happened. I don't know, but you know what? We're back.
Okay. Well, I was proning. So with my proning, that's how I was able to, breathe better, get the deep breathing and help fill my lungs with oxygen and remove the phlegm, because I coughed. Oh my God, I coughed a lot. I thought, the term, I'm going to cough up a lung. It really felt like I was going to cough up my lung. It was intense.
Wow.
So once I finally came home, I had the occupational therapist and the physical therapist, because I didn't walk until like the last week I was there.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I walked in the whole 5 weeks I had been there.
So you
So
had to really regain
I did
strength.
for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could get up, I had a little portable potty next to my bed. I could do that. I can go over to the sink and wash my hands, and I can make my way back to my bed. And that's as far as I had gone at that point.
Okay.
So that last week, I started doing physical therapy and occupational therapy. And the things we take for granted, like putting on a bra, was the absolute most difficult thing to do.
Really? Okay.
Yes, I couldn't reach around there and touch that. Couldn't do any of that. Raising my hands to do my hair, or in my case, put on my wig, because my hair was braided when I was in the hospital. But to put on my extra hair, it took a lot.
Wow.
To do the things I could do in 10 minutes now takes me an hour. Coming home and having to stand and cook, because she wanted me to be as self-sufficient as possible.
Right.
So I would come in and I would cook, but I keep a chair in the kitchen because I get winded and I get tired. That's how I was in the beginning. I'm way better now. It's been almost a year.
Wow.
So I'm way better now. But the occupational therapist, when I was working with her, and I would talk about that night of, sitting at the sink, giving myself a bath. She was like, well, I need you to get comfortable getting in the shower. And she had asked me to purchase a seat to go in my shower. And I'm like, I don't know about that. She was like, we got to get you there. So it literally took me on my own with the seat in my shower. Doesn't mean I wasn't washing, y'all. I was still washing every day. But it took me 3 weeks to get to a point where I would get in that shower.
Where you trusted it.
Where I trusted that I wasn't going to die while I was there.
Can you share a little bit about that fear of, if I move, will it be my last movement? If I breathe in, will it be my last breath? Can you share how you had to confront that fear and allowing yourself to move forward?
Well, I'm still confronting that fear. And I discussed it with my pulmonologist. She asked me on my last visit back in June, are you having nightmares? And I got quiet. She said, you are. She said, I asked because I have another patient who's having nightmares about an experience she had in the hospital similar to yours, because she knew what happened. I told her what happened. And I was like, yeah. She said, are you seeing a therapist? I said, yeah. She said, make sure you mention that. Y'all need to work on that. She said, because if you're not sleeping at night, which most times I'm not, it's probably because in your psyche, your mind reflects back to that moment when your oxygen hit 50.
Yeah.
And it tells you, we can't let that happen, so you can't go to sleep. So now, back when I was in undergrad and when I was in grad school, I would stay up all night and work anyway. So I'm used to being up at night. So to me, that was no big deal. But when you work, you can't sleep all day unless you work at night. And I didn't. I had a full-time job during the day. So that was difficult. And like I say, I'm still facing that. And I still have trouble sleeping at night.
Yeah.
A year later.
It's like the grieving process. You go through cycles of grief, and everybody seems to think that grief is stuck at death, and it's not. Whenever you have a traumatic life change, you're going to grieve the loss of things, the familiarity of things, and be afraid of some of the new things as you're going through the cycle. And one of the things I always say is you have to be gentle with yourself, because your life has taken on a new look, a new perspective, a new meaning. Because one of the things, and this is something that I would like for you to share if you can, what would be some words of wisdom that you would share with others about the importance of daily looking to fulfill your dreams, because we don't know when tragedy may come?
You get up and you thank God for every day. See, I look at life differently now. I'm not in a hurry to be back out. I'm not in a
Mhm.
hurry to be around people. My anxiety rises at the mere thought of being in a crowd.
Mhm.
Um, I go out with a mask on because I do have to walk every day to build my lung capacity. So when I
Mhm.
go out, I wear a mask.
Mhm.
Even when people come to deliver things, groceries, Amazon, whatever, I have on a mask whether they have on one or not.
Mhm.
Because I
Mhm.
don't know where you've been. I don't know what you've encountered. And it's not that I'm calling you nasty. It's not that at all.
Mm-mm.
You feel comfortable doing what you're doing. I
Mhm.
don't.
Mhm.
And I didn't catch this on my own.
Right. I
And I've heard
remember.
people say, I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry,
No,
I've
go
heard
ahead.
people say, you know, well, I had my shot. Like the maintenance man wanted to come in back in May to check my fire extinguisher. I said, no, hold on, I'll go get it for you. He's like, you're not letting me in. I said, no, you don't even have on a mask. He
Mhm.
was like, well, I've had my shot. I said, and I caught this from somebody who had shots.
Mhm.
That's not giving me peace.
Mhm.
So you
Mhm.
wait right here and I'll get
Mhm.
it for you.
Yeah.
And I got it and I handed it to him outside the door. So when you're done, I'll come back and get it.
Mhm.
So you might feel comfortable having your shots and everything is cool, but the person who gave it to me didn't know they had it.
Right.
So if I develop it and I don't know I have it and I'm not wearing a mask, I could easily give it to you.
Absolutely. And my personal opinion is shots and no shots. I honestly think that in order to reduce transmission, we all should actively still be masking. I was masking prior to COVID because of asthma
Right.
and allergies and things of that nature, and people not taking, you know, allergies serious enough
Mm-hmm.
for asthmatics. And, you know, Brighton and I, we share that
Mm-hmm.
in common, and we talk
Mm-hmm.
about, you know, how we need to reduce those symptoms, but people often forget where things are. When you think about all of these challenges, the newness, and
Mm-hmm.
someone tells you that they want to give up because life is tough, what would you say to them?
Life is tough, but you're tougher. And
Mm.
I know that sounds cliche.
Mhm.
And each and every day I get up, I'm grateful that I got up.
Mhm.
Am I angry? Every now and then I am.
Mhm.
When I trip over this cord, it reminds me of that day.
Mhm.
Okay. So the memory of that day is not gone. I don't know if it will ever leave.
Mhm.
However, I have to learn to move on with my new normal.
Mhm.
So no matter what life throws at you, be tougher.
Yeah.
Trust God among all others.
Mhm.
Man will fail you,
Mhm.
but then God will send you a tribe of people that will not only keep you accountable, but they will keep you uplifted. And that
Mhm.
has been my saving grace
Mm.
between my children and my friends and number one, God.
Mhm.
And my faith has wavered here and there because there have
Mhm.
been things that have happened to me financially throughout all of this as well
Right.
that have been very difficult. And, I've had a conversation about, oh, you need to do a GoFundMe account. I'm not doing a GoFundMe account.
Mhm.
Why? You think you too good? No, I'm just not doing it.
Mhm.
So, get on food stamps. I don't want food stamps. So I have, we call it pride, we call it whatever we want to call it.
Mhm.
But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, there were certain things I just wasn't going to do. And I
Mhm.
kept saying, okay, God, you said stand on your word. I'm standing on your word. Where are you? Do you hear
Mhm.
me?
Mhm.
Hello?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I cried, I got angry, and I was, why did this happen to me? And then,
Mhm.
you get past that, okay, it happened to me. It's okay. You're equipped for this. You're
Mhm.
going to bless others because of this. You're going to
Mhm.
let other people know that they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
it has taken a lot to get
Mhm.
to a point
Mhm.
where I can, at least on a different platform than Facebook, come out and say that this happened to me
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
it has been hard.
Yeah.
And people in the environment where I worked after I got out of the hospital thought I should have been back at work in 2 weeks.
Mm.
Really?
That,
Do
you
you
know what?
realize?
That's gonna be a whole nother show. Cause That
That's
I think
crazy.
I'm still quite angry. And if you don't mind me sharing, just long story short,
Hmm.
um, her job failed her.
Big time.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And you know, and this is for everybody in the audience who go run hard for these jobs.
Hmm.
These jobs don't care anything about you. You
Nothing.
have got to tap into your purpose and your passion in
Hmm.
order to sustain you. These
Hmm.
jobs will roll you out to the curb and send in your replacement.
So
Can you
fast.
talk a little bit about how building your team of 800 people has kept you pushing your passion, even when the job said, we don't need you anymore? You've been sick too long.
Right. You
Mm-hmm,
can't give us a date. You ain't coming back. Fine.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. With regard to my business, pjblinks.com.
We're not rolling past that real quick. That's pjblings.com. I need everybody to go out there and to place at least one order. And I don't normally do that on Authentically Peculiar with Marcia, but I think that is well worth it. So go
Oh,
ahead. I apologize for interrupting, but I wanted to give you that moment of advertisement.
well,
Go.
thank you. I appreciate that because you know I was just playing for real. I was,
I know.
but um, what the person I am
Mm-hmm.
for me is not about the jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
like you said. Like I told you, the
Mm-hmm.
cancer in me is nurturing. I want to see people win. I want to
Mm-hmm.
help however I can help.
Mm-hmm.
This has been the easiest way to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. If you can sit this out on a table and just let people shop and they hand you hand over fist, five here, five there, five here, five there. And then you sit back and say, wow, this was the easiest non-job I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And if you sit down with a male or female that's going through some stuff and they're like, oh my God, if I just had $20 for gas, boo, go open that bag you got in there and pull out some pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Go sit those pieces in front of somebody's face and then $20 later. And now
Mm-hmm.
their confidence is feeling good. Okay, Josie, I did it. We had a lady.
Mm-hmm.
She's 83 years old.
Wow.
She was so close to hitting, this is a rank inside of our business called Life of the Party, hitting Life of the Party silver.
Mm.
And I saw her post something about it. We talked and I gave her a challenge. I said, you're too close to this not to get it.
Right.
If you hit it, and I'm going to give you some suggestions on how to make it happen. If you hit this, I got a prize for you.
Mm-hmm.
She hit it by her targeted date, which was 4 days before the end of the month. And I was so
Wow.
proud of her. So I think it was over the weekend, maybe Saturday or Sunday, I
Mm-hmm.
mailed off her gift. Now,
Mm-hmm.
here's the funny part about the gift. She I had no idea what I was sending.
Mm-hmm.
I sent her a what do you got? Those little speakers
Uh-huh. The
from
Bluetooth
Amazon,
speakers.
the
Mm-hmm.
Bluetooth,
Oh, the Echo.
the
Mm-hmm.
the something like that. I don't know which one it was, but it was
Mm-hmm.
one Amazon had that
Mm-hmm.
they had during the little sale thing
Mm-hmm.
once upon a time. But I bought it and I kept saying I need to issue a challenge so I can give this out because I didn't buy it for me. I bought it to give.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
could have used it in my own house. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want it for me. I bought it purposely to
Mm-hmm.
give it away.
Mm-hmm.
So when she got it, she was like, oh my God, Josie, I got my gift today. Do you know I was on Amazon looking for one of these? I said, see how God works. That's when
Mm-hmm.
you know you're working in your purpose.
And that's the thing. When you are working in your authentic place, the purpose of who you are is always going to come out. Because here's the thing, no one can control when life throws us a challenge, not a single person. What we do have control is how we process through it
Yes.
and re-empowering ourselves with the strength to power forward. That is not to say don't feel in the moment, not to get angry in the moment, not to experience fear in the moment. That is to say, have all of those human experiences and then keep going.
Right.
What would be your last words to others about making sure that they are checking on their mental well-being along with their physical well-being and pushing their passion?
Well, the first thing I would say, aside from prayer, because you can pray, but the word says pray without ceasing. And it also talks about faith without works is dead. So you got to do something more than just praying. I, by my therapist, was encouraged to get an app that would help me log my feelings daily. Okay. And the one I chose is called Mood Flow. So I would suggest that you get an app. First of all, get you a therapist. Hello. Because we, as people of color, it's in our DNA, baby.
Yeah.
The trauma is there.
Yeah.
And it's just being passed down from generation to generation to generation. And we constantly let things slide and let people be. And oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. You
Woo.
are hurting me.
With the power on that.
Okay. You are hurting me. Okay. My feelings are valuable. My thoughts, my words. Because somebody asked me the other day, you don't do a lot of talking, do you? I said, yes, but I only talk when I need to.
I always tell people we have two eyes so that we can see more. We got two ears so that we can hear more. We have a single mouth so that we can speak when it is a way to edify and build others up and be empowered. If your mouth is moving more than your eyes and your ears, you're off balance.
Yep. Yep. And I have been guilty of that because my little tongue could be a little sharp, so I'll own it. And I'm learning to temper my words because it is not my intention to offend people. But sometimes you can say it in a spirit of love and they're still offended. Well, guess what? That's a place you need to grow.
Yes.
And I know because I'm going through some growing pains right now myself. But the Lord had to slow me down to get my attention. He got it. I'm learning. And it's an everyday process.
Everyday
We're under construction. There's no such thing as perfection. I don't believe in it. I've never believed in it. I do believe you should strive to do your best in whatever you choose to do and whoever you choose to be, but not at somebody else's expense.
One of the things that you said today that was really powerful, you have to choose to work. Even when you're going through, you have to choose to be authentic. Even when you're going through, you have to choose you. Even when you're going through and knowing that it is okay to make that choice. Josie, I cannot tell you how grateful I am for this episode. I know how much it took for you to, one, do the episode, two, to let the world know that you have O2 accessories.
Yes.
And
I like
three, to be able to be vulnerable in this safe space. So I want to say thank you. For those of you who have not liked, followed, and shared Authentically Peculiar with Marcia, I need you to go run and do that because these episodes are going to continue to be powerful.
Yes.
I want you to go out to pjblings.com, find you some $5 stuff. Let's just bless her.
Oh,
right?
So
not that we talked about any of this. She didn't know, and I'll probably get cussed out later, y'all, for real.
I ain't gonna cuss out, y'all. I'm gonna get up, I ain't gonna cuss out.
Y'all see my face? I already know. So I say that I am sending out so many positive energy vibes to
Thank you.
everyone.
Yes.
If you have gone through battles in COVID, whether it was loss of your norm, loss of a loved one, grieving, even job loss or connection with others, I encourage you to really find either a therapist or group support. You
Yeah.
don't have to walk this battle,
No,
this journey alone.
you
Don't
don't.
do that to yourself. You don't have to
Mm-mm.
pretend like you're
Mhm.
super strong or any of that. Don't do that to yourself. Get
Mhm.
these connections. Give yourself permission to be in the moment. But if all else fails, I need you to always be authentically peculiar. Take good care, and I'll
Thank
see
you.
you. You're welcome. I'll see you on the next episode.